Hey, Define Yourselfers, do you have an upcoming visit to hospital that is causing you stress? Hospital visits can be stressful, especially for those of us who are late diagnosed autistic adults. Today, I'm sharing practical tips to make your stay smoother, more comfortable, and less overwhelming. So, grab your favorite beverage and your comfort item. Minimize all distractions and get comfy in your sensory-friendly space. Ready? Let's dive in. Now, before we go to hospital, we must prepare for hospital. And the first thing we should do is to gather our medical information. What this means is we need to make a list of all the medications we're on, not just the names, the dosages. Do we take 1 pill or 2 pill? Do we take it morning, afternoon, evening, bedtime? We need to get all that written down. Also, we want to write down any allergies that we have. And they're primarily interested in any medical allergies, like are you allergic to particular drugs, or maybe latex, or maybe you're allergic to certain foods for dietary issues. Write all of that down. You could add if you're allergic, let's say, to ragweed, grass, mold, but they're not that interested in that as they are in things that you may be exposed to while you're in hospital. And don't forget to make a list of your past surgeries. If you've had any past surgeries, write down what they are and when you had them. Now, you're not going to know all the medical terms. I know I don't. And so I'm sitting there babbling like a moron, but they can usually figure out what I'm talking about. And when they take your surgical history, they often like to know when it occurred. Now, you may not remember the exact date of all your surgeries. I remember some of mine, but they give them at least a ballpark month or at least a year of what age you were. And they may ask you where you had those surgeries done at or who performed them. So if you know that information, write that down as well. And of course, you want to make a list of any important medical history that you've had. This can include procedures or tests that you have outside the normal um, visits and checkups that you have with your doctor. You may want to tell them about the fact that depending on your age, that you've had a colonoscopy or that you had a heart catheterization, whatever it is, they will want to know that. And they may ask you where you had that done at and when, so they can access those records if that's going to be relevant to your visit to the hospital this time. Additionally, we might also want to create a communication card explaining our sensory sensitivities, our triggers, and how the staff at hospital can best communicate with us. This can make a huge difference when things get busy, and they will get busy more likely than not when you're in hospital. Now let's address some sensory needs. I want you to think about your sensory environment. Hospitals can be noisy and bright, which can be overwhelming. What can you do to protect yourself from sensory overload while you're at hospital? Well, you can bring noise canceling headphones, earplugs, or even an eye mask. Additionally, consider bringing comfort items like soft clothing, a favorite pillow, or a weighted blanket. These items can also help you feel calmer while managing your sensory challenges. Now, let's talk about mentally preparing for our trip to the hospital. Now, to mentally prepare yourself for your hospital visit, visual schedules and hospital maps are amazing tools for reducing anxiety. You might even want to look for images of the hospital, both inside and out, on Google, and look for videos on YouTube and videos that will show you the interior of the hospital. Most hospitals have some videos. Many of them are more teaching videos or bragging about, well, bragging may not be the right word, but, announcing that they can do a new procedure, a new part of the hospital being built or open. And even though it's a little bit more promoting themselves, you can still look at the images and get an idea of what you might see in that hospital if you've never been there before. And when they're telling you about the new technology that they are able to do, it may make you even feel a little bit less anxious about being in the hospital. And that gives you a peace of mind that you're in a good place. Additionally, knowing what to expect each day will help you feel more in control. So if you are admitted, which this video is both for people who are admitted and just going for, an in and out same day outpatient treatment or just, a quick procedure. But if you are admitted, most mornings the nurses will tell you, if not, ask your nurse what to expect today, and you can even ask them the night before if they know. Most of the stuff's already charted and scheduled, so feel free to ask about that. It's called advocating for yourself, and you should do that whenever you're in the hospital. Now, you can also practice relaxation techniques while you're in hospital, like deep breathing, grounding exercises, or guided imagery to help manage stress, and do that before and during your stay. That can be particularly helpful, especially after surgery and you find out, get the results, and they were not exactly what you wanted. We're hoping for the best, but this can happen. So these are great ways to help you, I say, self-regulate to the best of your ability in the hospital, which is not your normal environment. At least I hope it's not. One of the most important things I think everyone, whether you're autistic, neurodiverse, or neurodivergent, or neurotypical, I should say, is that you should build a support system. Everyone needs support systems. This means having someone that you trust to advocate for you is crucial. I can tell you the number of times I've been places, and my wife's gotten to know me really well, and we've been married for over 20 years. And she can tell when I'm getting overwhelmed, overstimulated, over something. Anyway, and she starts to advocate for me. And this is something you need, because the hospital is going to have a lot of things that are going to that may cause you sensory issues and could cause you anxiety. Okay, let's be honest, you're going to see things in the hospital you never see in the outside world, and some of them could be a little bit unsettling. So you want to have someone you trust to advocate for you, and that is crucial. Whether it's a family member, friend, or anyone else who is an ally and supports and understands your autism, you need to have them be there as much as they can to help advocate for you. Make sure the person who's advocating for you knows your preferences and knows your triggers. Also, be helpful if they know how to help calm you down. My wife knows how to do that with me at times. Also, while you're at hospital, identify staff members you can approach if you feel overwhelmed. Remember, they are there to help and take care of you. That's why they're working in a hospital. If you have a problem with a particular nurse, I used to volunteer in a hospital, so I know this from this experience. Ask politely to speak to the charge nurse. And if you have any trouble with anyone there, charge nurse, whatever, there are ombudsmen and other advocates in the hospital. You just have to ask for them, I should say. For more videos that will empower you to rise above the challenges of autism and live confidently autistic, you should subscribe to this channel. And when you do, be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new videos and when I go live Thursday nights. Now it's time to pack. So let's talk about our packing checklist before we head to hospital. Pack smart. When you're going to be at the hospital, pack smart. Make sure you pack essentials like medications. Now, they will probably give you your own medication from their pharmacy while you're at the hospital. But Some places like to actually see the bottle with the prescription written on it. So please pack your medication. And there's been a couple of times I've been in the hospital. One of my medications that I needed to take, their pharmacy did not have. So they certainly wanted that outside medicine to be brought in so that I can continue on that medication. Also, make sure you pack your ID card. Frankly, you should never leave home without your driver's license or state issued ID. There are so many people who don't that I see on Patrol Live. Either they don't, they're BSing the cop trying to get out of getting busted forewarned. I don't know. Anyway, so make sure you bring your ID card. I know you think you're going to be in the hospital. You don't want to take anything important that you could lose. And that's a good thought. But you do need to bring your ID because they may ask for that when you register to be admitted to hospital. And don't forget your insurance information. And that includes your insurance cards. Believe me, it would be a lot easier if you bring them, if at all possible. Why I carry mine in my wallet wherever I go, because it speeds up the process and you don't get a surprise bill when you get home. You might still get a bill, but it won't be as large if you bring that insurance information. Also, be sure to pack toiletries. This is toothbrush, toothpaste, a razor, electroshave, shaving cream, deodorant, etc. Whatever you would usually keep in your bathroom that you're going to need while you're there, pack those items. And let's not forget comfy clothes. Now, in most hospitals, psychiatric hospitals and mental health hospitals included, you're not going to be wearing your street clothing. Okay, most of them don't. Okay, rehabilitation hospitals you might as well. But if you're in a medical hospital, do pack your comfy clothes because you get an opportunity to wear them. You're going to enjoy them. Okay, maybe they'll let you wear your shirt underneath your gown if that's a sensory issue. I'm hoping that if I'm in the hospital, they'll let me take off the gown because I hate wearing shirts. But that's another story for another video. And of course, when you get discharged, you're going to want to put on some nice, clean, comfy clothes to go home in, right? So don't forget those. Also, don't forget comfort items like fidget toys, weighted blankets, and or a favorite pillow. And bring entertainment, books, magazines, music, or even a tablet to help pass the time and to stay calm. Bonus tip, most hospitals have free Wi-Fi. So don't be afraid to ask how to log into their free Wi-Fi, that is, if you wish to use it during your stay. Now is your turn. What are your strategies for hospital stays? Share them in the comments below. Until next time, I am Chris Mitchell, aka the Confident Autistic, reminding you to rise above challenges and live confidently autistic.